Let's learn pre-modern together, firsthand. Hello and welcome back. And today we are learning a new format, and you are coming on the journey with me. I am stepping my toes into the pre-modern format. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Legacy has some issues right now. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, and until the banning that is coming up, the format is honestly pretty stale. So there's a lot of desire for an alternative format to be able to play old cards. And of all of the alternatives out there right now, pre-modern seems to be the one that has the most hype and has the most attention. So I decided to try pre-modern myself. I've been interested in this format, and I've kind of been lurking around some forums in the Discord and checking out a few deck lists, but I'm finally taking the dive and going into the format and giving it a try. So today you're going to get to learn the format with me as I play my first matches ever in the format. I do not know the meta. I do not know what the key cards of the format are. We are learning as we go. So when I was looking through the deck list, I tried to find something as close to a legacy deck as I could so I could at least understand it, and I settled on Reanimator. So I understand Legacy Reanimator. I understand the point is put a big fatty in the graveyard, reanimate it, beat your opponent down. So the big difference with pre-modern versus legacy is you don't have a lot of the premier reanimation targets that are just game enders. You don't have Atraxa, you don't have Gristlebrand, you don't have Archon of Cruelty. So our reanimation targets are much weaker and are basically just big bodies with random abilities such as Akroma Angel of Wrath, Verdant Force, Phantom Nishoba, and Multani Maro Sorcerer. These are just big bodies. Some of them have some added abilities like Akroma with some protection and a whole bunch of keywords. Verdant Force just shits out tokens to be able to go wide as well. Phantom Nishoba is just a big body with some protection on it, trample, and pseudo lifelink. Multani is just a big dumb beater. And then we've got Rhea Dawnbringer as a repeatable reanimation ability to be able to get this on the battlefield and then get back all of your other big fatties to just beat down your opponent. To power this out, we've got a bunch of fast mana in the form of Lotus Petals and Dark Rituals. We can empty the big fatties into the graveyard with stuff like Putrid Imp and Careful Study to also go find our reanimation targets. And our reanimation spells are the All-Star Reanimate, which you know from Legacy, Exhume, which you know from Legacy, and then also Living Death, which is what Living End was based off of. So think the same effect, just on a spell you can actually cast without having to cascade into it. Rounding out the package, we've got Cabal Therapies for discard for our opponent, plus being able to get our own fatties out of hand. We've got Sickening Dreams, which is an interesting one, as it acts as removal and a discard outlet for our big fatties if we get them stuck in our hand. And then what, as far as I can tell, is a pretty standard multicolor pre-modern mana base. You do have access to true duels in this format, but you see a lot of these rainbow lands such as City of Brass and Gemstone Mine, and you see a lot of the pain lands as well, because the mana bases don't have access to a lot of the newer dual lands that have been printed in recent years to be able to round out their colors. So something to take into consideration in pre-modern that I really don't see in a lot of other formats is managing your life total with all of these lands that end up actually damaging you as you use them. And with Reanimate making you lose life, that is a real cost, and it's something we're going to have to manage throughout the course of the league. The sideboard is a bunch of stuff for what I'm assuming the pre-modern format is. Like I said, I don't know this format basically at all outside of a cursory glance at it, but it looks pretty well-rounded in general. You got Disenchant for artifact and enchantment decks, Crumble for more artifact hate, Duress for just some additional discard up against what I'm assuming are combo and control decks, Curse Totem to be able to shut down activated abilities, and then Oath of Druids as a pivot plan if your graveyard is shut off or if you're up against creature heavy decks that are going to flood the board early, to be able to have another way to get your big fatties onto the battlefield and hope that your big fatties are better than whatever small go wide creatures your opponent has. So let's take this through a series of 5 matches. Let's learn the pre-modern format, and we'll see how it goes. Also, if you like what you see, please do me a favor, like and comment this video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you want to see more pre-modern content and what pre-modern decks you want to see on the channel down in the comments below. I am excited to try this format out. I want to try some more stuff, so let me know if you like this and you want to see more of it. Alright, this is my first match of pre-modern ever, so let's learn this format together today. What do we have here? We've got a turn 1 reanimated Verdant Force, so I think we're gonna keep it. Alright, we're gonna do the thing and see if this is enough. Force of Will is banned in this format, so swamp into Lotus Petal, into Cabal Therapy myself, name Verdant Force, and then reanimate the Verdant Force and hope it's enough? Reanimate targeting Verdant Force? I have absolutely no idea what the interaction in this format looks like, outside of, like I said, I know Force of Will is banned. Alright, and we've got a Verdant Force on turn 1, and we're going to see if this is good enough. Make a sapling. I totally did not realize this is at every upkeep, and it makes creatures on my opponent's turn. Alright, Gemstone Mire from the opponent into a Lotus Petal. Normally this sends off, like, combo vibes to me, but because of the way that this format is, you see a lot of these, like, rainbow lands like this. We got a Putrid from the opponent, so they might be on something... They're on the exact same thing. Okay, so we hit a Reanimator Mirror right off of the bat that also has a turn 1 reanimate. However, their reanimation targets are a bit better than mine because they're able to get in first. And they can just take the hit from me here. Alright, so Akroma is a very good reanimation target is what we're learning here. Alright, so we're going to play an Undiscovered Paradise. We're just going to swing in. Like, maybe they try to block. Like, I can swing in with this, but it's just a free chump block. We're going to see if they want to block everything. No, just blocking with the, Putrid. Okay, they had a better turn 1 reanimate than I did, apparently. Go figure, a 6/6 flying first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, and protection from red and from black is better than a 7/7 that shits out tokens. And we're just dead. I'm just seeing if they'll show us any more of their deck here. Nope. Okay, we're dead. Okay, lost game 1. Let's see what we can bring in from the sideboard for hate here. We could try Oath of Druids. I don't think that's really going to matter. I think it's probably just the Duresses to try to get rid of their reanimation. Other than that, Crumble is Artifact. Hey, Oath of Druids is not what we want to see in this matchup because they're going to have very few creatures as well. Disenchant is kind of whatever. So yeah, I guess we'll bring in the Duresses. Maybe we take out a smidge of our reanimation targets. Or, I feel like Exhume is kind of a double-edged sword here, so maybe we want to take this out since it's symmetrical. Yeah, we'll take out the Exhumes, bring in the Duresses, and we'll try something like that. Alright, let's see if we can get a blazingly fast reanimate start as well. Okay, well, we got pretty much the exact start that our opponent had. So, we will start out with a Gemstone Mire, play a Lotus Petal, make a blue, play a Careful Study. Let's chuck a Chroma and probably Living Death since it's a double-edged sword here. And then we will reanimate our Chroma. And we will get the start that our opponent had last time. And we can refuel with this other Careful Study as well. It is nice that, like, the reanimation targets in Premodern are not nearly as busted as the shit that's available in Legacy. Like, you don't have Gristlebrand, you don't have Atraxa. So it's kind of nice seeing these quote-unquote more fair reanimation targets. And opponent's going to Careful Study as well. Okay. Are we just going to take turns basically just killing each other off of our turn 1 plays? It's very possible. Chucked a Symbiotic Worm. Okay. They have a Lotus Petal. They also have an Iridescent Angel. Flying protection from each color, so they can just, like, stonewall my Akroma. Which it looks like what's happening here. They are going to reanimate the Iridescent Angel. So that just straight up stonewalls my Akroma and can attack through it. But at this point, it's just stuck back on defense. So we will careful study, see what we can find here, because this is all just mana. We don't really care about any of that. A bunch of mana and a duress. I think we're going to chuck the swamp and a dark ritual, play the underground river. We'll do a little bit of damage to ourselves just to duress them and see if they've got any kind of backup here. They have a putrid imp and double cabal therapy. Well, we don't actually care about that at all. Unfortunately, these are colors that a chroma doesn't have protection from. So we'll just pass the turn. See if they want to get in at us. We have a faster clock than they do at the moment. We know they have a putrid imp in hand. Okay, so their draw was Undiscovered Paradise. So it's just mana. Yep, they can play Putrid Imp, that's fine. And they're still just going to hold their Iridescent Angel back on D, that's fine. We had a Phantom Neshoba that we can't do anything with. I mean, we'll just get in, force the block. It really doesn't matter, because they can just chump block and it doesn't do anything, so... And a Chroma will just take 4 damage for no actual reason here. Wait, did the trample damage go? I forget how that works with trample. Did I miss 2 points of damage last turn? I very well might have. I am so not used to this interaction of protection with trample. Yep, you can go ball therapy me, that's fine. I don't know what they're gonna name. Chose reanimate. That was a whiff, that's fine. Passes the turn. Okay, what do we draw here? We draw a Putrid Imp of our own. Well, I'm going to experiment here. I totally wasn't paying attention to see if this trample damage actually went over or not. Okay, trample damage does go over, so they should be at 1. And I'm going to go ahead and... I have pretty much every color I need off this Underground River, so let's do this without actually needing to damage ourselves. Alright, an opponent's passing. We have another Phantom Neshoba. Well, we will... put our opponent to 1. We should have won by now, but I totally forgot the interaction of protection with trample. I was thinking it prevented all damage, not just the lethal damage. So these 2 lands are basically off from our opponent. They can make a Symbiotic Worm, but that's not going to save them. Another land from the opponent. Dark Ritual, okay. What is their last card in hand? Is it that, like, Drain Life thing? No, it's Living Death. Opponent, all creatures and sacrifices all. Okay, well, we will chuck our 2 Phantom Neshobas so that we get those back. And this is the downside of playing a symmetrical one. They're going to get a Symbiotic Worm. We're going to get 2 Phantom Neshobas. Okay, and we took game 2, despite objectively punting. So I think we actually might just keep this exactly as is. We could also, like, swap out the Living Deaths for the Exhumes, but I think we're just going to run it back and just hope we don't get turn 1 again. What do we have here? So we could... This is an interesting keep if we keep it. We could, like, Duress and then Sickening Dreams off of a Dark Ritual. If they go low enough on life, that's a way to do it. If we hit... This might be a good way to stabilize the board. This just feels like such a weird hand to keep. I almost feel like it's a trap, but it's also like if our opponent mulligans for a turn 1, we can kind of just go ham here. Granted, if we do Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual, Sickening Dreams, we'd only have 5 things we can chuck. So, I mean, to deal 5 to our opponent, but then only 5 to their creature, I think we're going to mulligan. Okay, this is better. I think we're going to go ahead and keep this. We will keep this, and I think we're going to bin a redundant Dark Ritual. This just sets us up so if we hit any reanimation spell, I think we're good. City of Brass from the opponent. Into a Careful Study, okay. This also is a really cool thing that's kind of unique to Premodern, is almost all of the lands people play deal damage to them, so it's really interesting seeing how people navigate around this. Do they have the Reanimate right off of the bat? 2 Lotus Petals. Exhume? No, they're going to Duress, so... I mean, they could take the Dark Ritual or the Cabal Therapy, but they can't take... They can't take all of our acceleration, and they can't take the Putrid Imp and the Verdant Force. So they take the Dark Ritual. Is your last card Reanimate? Yes, it is. Okay. So they've got a Verdant Force. We had a Careful Study, so let's go ahead and Gemstone Mire. Make some blue. See what we can find here. Careful Study, Therapy. We're going to check the therapies. Play Lotus Petal. Crack another one of these. Okay, we hit a Reanimate. We can put Multani and Verdant Force. Unfortunately, our opponent is going to get in a crack with their Verdant Force before we can get it back. However, we'll be at 12, and they'll be at 10 if they do anything. And then our Verdant Forces can kind of just bounce off of each other. We hit an Exhume. That doesn't really do anything. So, I mean, we'll get a Verdant Force back of our own. However, I'm at 4. And I'll go to 1. Because they can attack with 3 of these tokens. Well, I guess I'll go to 2. Land from the opponent. They're probably going to get in. Yep, getting it with everything. We will take this off of the battlefield. And I guess we'll take this off of the battlefield. Go to 2, so we can block with our Putrid Imp. Unless they just have another reanimation spell, which looks like they don't. We hit a Living Death. We can play Putrid Imp and still die to the 2 Saproling tokens. Yeah, they got us. I mean, it's funny we hit the mirror in the very first match I've ever played of this format, but good game, opponent. Good game. We'll just play this out to show them that we don't have anything here, and then we'll scoop it up. But okay, well, this is a hell of a learning experience, that's for sure. On to the next one. All right, so what do we have here? We've got turn 1 Putrid Imp, turn 1 Cabal Therapy, or turn 1 Careful Study. And we can try to work our way up to this Living Death. I think this is a keep. Opponent kept on 7 as well. Karplusan Forest from the opponent and a pass, so I don't think we're up against another Reanimator match. We hit a Dark Ritual. That's interesting. I think I'm just going to play Swamp into Putrid Imp to start. And then if I find some more fast mana, I can Living Death next turn. That one from the opponent. Like, I do not know what the archetypes are in this format at all. I literally just went on MTG Top 8. Pyroclasm. Deal 2 damage to each creature. Okay. Well, we will chuck a Chroma. Just get into the graveyard. As I was saying, I don't know what the, meta decks are in this format. I literally went on MTG Top 8 and just looked at the combo decks and just thought, I understand Reanimator and Legacy. I'm going to give it a shot in Premodern and see what happens. We hit an Underground River. So I think we'll play Underground River, play Careful Study, see if we can hit some more fast mana to play this Living Death. We hit another Careful Study. Since I have no idea what to name with Cabal Therapy, I'm just going to chuck Cabal Therapy here. I literally have no idea what I'm supposed to name with it. So if we hit a land, we can Ritual out Living Death, get back 2 creatures. Oh yeah, I forgot Wasteland was in this format. Okay. Get us off of our blue mana temporarily. Rampant Growth. Okay, so there's some kind of, Gruul. I want to say this is probably some version of, Ponza, but I very well could be wrong. We hit a Gemstone Mine. Well, we will play that. And we will play another Careful Study. City of Brass Careful Study. I think we're chucking a City of Brass. I think we're going to chuck the other Careful Study for now. Just try to set up so that we can Living Death next turn. Assuming they don't hit us with another land destruction spell. Call of the Herd. Create a 3/3 elephant. Okay. That's just going to die. So I'm actually okay with that. We hit another Underground River, so we can actually play this without taking any damage. Make a black. Cast a Dark Ritual. Play a Living Death. And we have a board, and our opponent doesn't now. And I think this is pretty well stitched up here. Again, I don't know what's in this format to be able to handle this, but based off of what I'm seeing from our opponent, they seem like a much fairer deck than what we're doing. They can always get another elephant back. Alright, opponent scoops it up. Alright, against what our opponent's doing, again, I really don't know what's going on over there. Do I want, I don't know what the sideboards look like for this stuff. This seems like it could be a matchup that we want Oath of Druids in. So I think I'm going to bring those in. I think we trim down on some number of reanimation targets that are expensive. And I'm actually going to just trim down all of the Cabal Therapies because I'm not going to lie, I have absolutely no idea what to name with those. So until I know the format better, I'm probably trimming those. I probably shouldn't, but like I said, I have no idea what I am naming in this format at this point. So I'm just going to bring in the Oath of Druids, take out the Cabal Therapies, and try that. Okay, so what do we have here? We have multiple Careful Studies, we have lands, we have Acceleration. I think we're going to keep this and trust on these Careful Studies. We have a Reanimation spell, and we have a way to, like, wipe our opponent's board in 2 different ways if we need to. And this is also a way to get stuff out of our hand if we need to. Alright, Tranquil Thicket, or Treetop Village from the opponent. This is the old Ape land. Is Apes an archetype in this format? Okay, there's Exhume. I think we're going to go ahead and play City of Brass, play a Careful Study, see if we can bin a fatty. Not yet. So what do we want to get rid of here? I feel like I want to hold on to this Oath of Druids. Let's get rid of... We're actually going to get rid of Sickening Dreams and Living Death here. We have an Exhume, which is a cheaper reanimation spell, and we have an Oath of Druids. So we will disincentivize our opponent from playing creatures. Granted, it looks like most of their stuff is either tokens or lands. This very much seems like some form of Ponza. But again, I don't know if that's an archetype in this format. Rampant Growth from the opponent. Okay, that's fine. And unless we hit something... Okay, so we hit another Gemstone Mine. We could try finding a fatty with Careful Study, but I think we're just going to play a Gemstone Mine and try to play the safe route here. And just slam an Oath of Druids, disincentivize them from playing any creatures. Granted, Treetop Village is a way to get around this. Okay, so it definitely is Ponza. That is refreshing to see Ponza in a format again, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, so they blew up my City of Brass, but I have plenty of other things to do here, and now I can get back a Neshoba Brawler. However, that does give them a chance to be able to get a creature. We will see what we draw here. Verdant Force, Neshoba Brawler. I think we're just going to chuck the 2 biggies here. And how bad could their creatures be for us is the question. I think we're going to wait a turn before we do anything. I think they were trying to activate their Treetop Village there. I'm not 100% sure. Like, this is the awkward part of keeping the reanimation stuff in and playing Oath of Druids. Pillage, okay. So they are just full on land destruction. So there's actually a decent chance they don't have any real creatures in this deck. Sarah Avenger is interesting. I think we're going to go ahead and just get back our Neshoba Brawler. Because they have no creatures. Well, we'll lose that land. Play an Exhume. Actually, let's get back... Verdant Force. Just kind of start flooding the board with chump blockers. Maybe I should have actually, I forgot that Neshoba Brawler has Trample, so maybe I should have actually gotten that. But we'll see if they actually have any creatures in their deck. They do. What the fuck is this? Holy shit! God damn, okay, Haste, power touches are equal to the number of sorcery cards in all graveyards. Okay, that is not something I was expecting at all. Holy shit. If we can get a Chroma in and back out of the graveyard, that would be fantastic. Okay, yeah, I was not expecting that at all. I clearly do not know this format. Alright, well, we have to block, otherwise we're dead. We very well might just be dead regardless here. Okay, well, we get to see more of our opponent's deck. Yeah, a bunch of token generators, a bunch of stuff. Destroy target enchantment. Okay, so I don't even get to get a creature now. Okay, yeah, I can honestly say I was not expecting that whatsoever. And yeah, we're just dead. Okay, can honestly say I was not expecting that. 100% was not expecting that. With that said, I guess we bring the Cabal Therapies back in, take the Oath of Druids out, as their one creature is fucking massive. Actually, let's bring the Duresses in over some number of Cabal Therapies, so I don't actually have to actively remember the names of cards. Like, I know there was Stone Raid, Pillage, Hull Breach, but I don't know the key cards well enough to just name them in the blind, so let's try this. Just a turn 1 Chroma would be great. Yeah, we can keep this. This is a turn 2 Chroma if our land survives. And this will bounce back to our hand for us to be able to reuse it to cast this Reanimate. And then I think an Chroma should probably be able to do the thing here. Unless they have a Tormod's Crypt, but we have 2 reanimation spells. Okay, they do have a Tormod's Crypt, so we can try to just work our way through this. And then I think end step, let's check the Neshoba Brawler, see if we can get them to pop this Tormod's Crypt on that. And we hit a City of Brass. Actually, just dawned on me, I should have used the other one, but whatever. Let's pop this Tormod's Crypt. Oh, they let us keep the Neshoba Brawler. Interesting. Do they have an answer for the Neshoba Brawler? I honestly was not expecting that. Force from the opponent. Okay, so they've got an Oath of Druids. Got it. That's why they don't care. Okay. We have an Underground River. We will play that. We will get in with the Neshoba Brawler. So our opponent brought in Oath of Druids as a sideboard card, which is interesting. Have their thing be like the bottom 4 cards of their library? Alright, they hit one of these. It's only a 4/4 right now. So I'm not super concerned about that. We didn't make it an 18/18 like last time. Stone Rain on our land. That's fine. That makes it a 5/5. I'm not super concerned about that yet. And they're not even going to bother getting in. That's totally fine. We hit a Dark Ritual. So what can we do here? We can try to trick them into this. So I think we're going to see what we can do here. And then we will play City of Brass. Get in with the Phantom Neshoba. See if they want to block. They will. Okay. That's fine for now then. We'll gain some life. We can Exhume and they get their Magnivore back, but I don't think we want to do that yet. They're probably going to hit another one. Question is how big is it? It's a 10/10 now, so it's bigger than our Neshoba Brawler. So I want to try to get to a point where I can do the Exhume thing twice. Or they're just going to blow up our City Traders again. Yep, that's fine. Alright, Wasteland from the opponent after they get another Magnivore. And they pillage our land, passing the turn. So we can Undiscovered Paradise, Duress, Exhume. We can chuck something to this Putrid Imp to give it flying so it can actually get in. And then just hope that we can keep going through to be able to eventually hit something good here. I think we are just going to go ahead and Duress the opponent here. See what they got going on over there. Another Oath of Druids, a Red Elemental Blast, and a Hull Breach. I think we'll get rid of the redundant Oath of Druids. We will chuck a Chroma to our Putrid Imp so that it gets flying for the turn. And get in. And eventually they will have the same or more creatures than us. And if all we do is just keep chump blocking with this guy... Granted, there's a possibility that they mill enough cards that each individual one of these is big enough to kill us. Yeah, I think our opponent has us here. Oh, they're only attacking with 1. Okay. I guess that would be death. And luckily, this can chump block quite a bit. Alright, so at least this Phantom Neshoba is kind of holding down the fort a little bit. We hit a City of Brass. There's a part of me that kind of just wants to say screw it and try to Exhume and see what happens. So I think we actually are. Just get this Tormod's Crypt off of the battlefield. Just force it here. Okay. So we got the forced one there. I did not see they had one of those in their graveyard. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I guess there's a world where they just mill out, right? Like, we'll just pass the turn, do some chump blocking, and hope our opponent mills out. We will get a creature back. Yeah, I was not paying attention to the opponent's graveyard at all, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, they're gonna blow up their own Oath of Druid so that I don't get a creature. Okay. Getting in with 2. So I can block one of them, take 19, go to 19, and now all of these are lethal. I think I bait... Okay, yep, there goes my land. I think I need a careful study and to hit some crazy rips here. Undiscovered Paradise, that doesn't do it. I suppose I technically have one more turn of blocks available to me. Because I'm at 19, I'll gain 4. Opponent failed to find off of their fetch land. Went to 6. Okay, they are swinging out here, so I do have to block both. I'll gain 4. This will go to a 3-3. I can hit them to 3. How was that enough to kill me? Oh, this isn't actually lifelink. It's a triggered ability. Okay, I see. See, we're learning here. All right, on to the next one. All right, had to take a break on the recording and come back another day to finish this pre-modern thing out here. So we got a Multani, but it's not going to be super big. But I think we're going to keep it. I mean, it's an early one, so it will be bigger than it could be. So we're going to start out with a Swamp into Putrid Imp, and then pass the turn. What if it hills from the opponent? Into a mountain. Into a Seal of Fire. Okay. That is totally fine. We hit a Undiscovered Paradise. We will play an Undiscovered Paradise. Activate Putrid Imp. Chuck a Multani. Reanimate Multani. And then pass the turn. Is currently a 9-9. I guess we can get in with the Putrid Imp for the hell of it. Hit him for 1. I feel like this might be burn of some sort. Another mountain from the opponent, and passes the turn. Okay, so we currently have a 2-turn clock on the opponent, and I'm incentivized not to actually play anything out here, so I'm just going to swing with everything and pass the turn. Price of Progress. Okay, that's going to deal 2 to me, because I only have 1 non-basic. And then our opponent is dead on board if they can't find a blocker. Mountain into a Ball Lightning. Okay. So we can take 6. Ooh, if they have a Fire Blast, this might actually be lethal. I don't know if Fire Blast is legal in this format. I feel like it should be. Okay, yeah, that's lethal because I can sacrifice this and deal 2 to me. Okay. Understood. So Fire Blast is legal in this format. That's a little disappointing, but it is what it is. I guess we will bring in Duresses, take out Cabal Therapies, and I think that's probably good enough to try that. Okay, let's see what we got here. We got a bunch of mana, a bunch of reanimation effects, but no way to get anything into the graveyard, so we gotta mulligan this. This is kind of the same thing, but we actually have payoffs. I think we gotta go 1 deeper. I mean, I guess we're gonna keep this. Put back a Putrid Imp and a Dark Ritual. And I think we're gonna start off with a Careful Study here. See if we can find a fatty to throw in the graveyard. Like, I don't know. This probably wasn't a keep, but okay. I guess we chuck a... Honestly, I think we just chuck both Living Deaths. We're not getting to a point where we can actively reanimate anything at this point anyways. This was probably a bad keep, but we have a way to get a fatty into the graveyard, which is why I kept it. And we have Disruption for our opponent. And we'll have 6 through the turn. Bloodstained Mire from the opponent. Into a mountain. Into a Grim Lavamancer. Okay. Duress. I'm a little scared to run out this Putrid Imp without anything to do with it, so I think we're just going to start out with Duressing our opponent here. Like, we could have Dark Ritual, Duress, into Putrid Imp. Lightning Bolt, and Browbeat. I think we'll take the Browbeat. It deals more damage, and it also allows our opponent to draw cards. And then we will just F6 through the turn here. There's the Wooded Foothills we saw. I'm gonna guess we're going to see Lightning Bolt into activate Grim Lavamancer, if I had to take a guess. I'm thinking we probably should have mulliganed deeper, but... Into another Grim Lavamancer, okay. Alright, they're just holding back to be able to activate Grim Lavamancer. Okay, we hit a Verdant Force here. If I use Gemstone Mine, I lose it. I still need an actual reanimation spell here, so I think we're going to pass. I'm assuming we're going to see a Lightning Bolt. No, we're just going to see Grim Lavamancer activation. Okay. Hit us for 2. I'm guessing we're going to get hit with the Ball of Lightning this turn. Bloodstained Mire, so we know that was a new draw. And yes, we are seeing a Ball of Lightning here, so we're probably going to get hit for 8, put us to 10. Yep. And they've got 3 in hand plus another 2 on board. again, we have stuff that we could get back, but I mean, maybe I should have held on to the Living Deaths, but like, we can't cast them anyways. And we were very quickly getting out of the range where Reanimate is actually a legitimate card. We're going to need something like an Exhume, but they can also get their Ball Lightning back. Granted, they're going to have to sacrifice it, so it's not really getting it back. But they've got a minimum of 7 damage on board here, because they can bolt double activate Grim Lavamancer. So I mean, I'm virtually at 3 here. Mog Fanatic post combat, okay, and played one of their lands, so they have land Lightning Bolt left. I think I'm going to be a little too short here, because this puts me to 2, and they should be able to sequence their Grim Lavamancer activations in such a way that they can activate them twice. Gemstone Mine. Well, we will go ahead and play out our Putrid Imp now. This might distract them and aim something at the Putrid Imp. No, they're still just bolting our face. And then they can activate this twice, put me to 3. Then I'm down to 2. If they can put any other card in the graveyard, I'm just dead. We basically need an Exhume or bust here. They're going to get in. I'm going to go ahead and block the Grim Lavamancer, and before damage, I'm going to chuck these into the graveyard. Actually, this is just death, because this is going to put enough shit in the graveyard that they can just kill me here. Because they can sack Mog Fanatic. This is going to die. They can activate Grim Lavamancer. Yeah, we're just dead here. Okay. This is a rough learning experience, but let's see if we can rally in the back half. Okay, what a die roll. Let's see what we can do here. We can Careful Study. Hopefully we hit something, and then we have multiple reanimation effects. I think we're going to keep this and trust in these 2 Careful Studies. So play a City of Brass. Play a Careful Study. We will always yield to the damage because we don't have a choice. Okay, I like Sarah Avenger. We will chuck Sarah Avenger. I think we're going to chuck one of the Exhumes. Order doesn't matter. Pass the turn. Our plan is next turn reanimate the Sarah Avenger. Or we could Exhume to save ourselves some life if our opponent doesn't put a creature in the graveyard. Chivalry from the opponent. And passing the turn. Alright, do they have like a Spell Pierce or something? Well, this actually allows us to play around a Spell Pierce if we want to. So I'm going to go ahead and use this, play a black, play Reanimate on Sarah Avenger here. Trying to play around a Spell Pierce just in case they have one. Get in with the Achroma. I don't know why I called it Sarah's Avenger, but it's an Achroma. And that was specifically to try to play around Spell Pierce. Again, I'm not super sure what's legal in this format. This is literally... These matches you're seeing are my first time playing this format at all. Like, I've done a little looking at deck lists and stuff, but not like a super deep dive to know what the actual meta is. City of Traders. Into a Mind Stone. Okay. 2 mana. Into another Mind Stone. So some sort of artifact ramp deck. I like where we're at in general here. I'm not going to lie. Like, I feel like we're in a pretty good spot overall. We get the Undiscovered Paradise back to our hand here. Into a Cabal Therapy. I could Cabal Therapy them, but I literally have absolutely no idea what I would even be looking for here. So I think we're just going to play the Undiscovered Paradise again, and we're going to Careful Study. Double Putrid Imp. I think we will put Cabal Therapy in the grave, one of the Putrid Imps, any order, play another Lotus Petal here, and I think we will go ahead and play a Putrid Imp, because we actually have lethal on board now that they have to deal with. I could have exhumed back the other Putrid Imp here, just so I had 2 theoretically lethal attackers, but... just playing it a little bit safe here, just in case I draw a big fatty that I can go ahead and use. Like, I think Tinker might be legal in this format, but I don't know what they would go get off of it. Okay, they've got a Tangle Wire. Alright, so if we stack these triggers right, I believe... Okay, no, everything is going to be tapped down. I was going to say, if we can actually tap shit accordingly, we can tap the Undiscovered Paradise first, but no, we actually can't. Because that goes back. We got to tap 4 things, so we just tap everything. That's fine. Why are you Rishid importing me? Like, I have to tap... Oh, I guess just to deal 1 damage to me. That's fine. We hit another Putrid Imp. We will play it out, just for the hell of it. Add more permanents to the board that we theoretically can tap to this Tangle Wire. So it's some sort of Staxy style deck. But the nice part about it is symmetrical, so it's going to greatly restrict their own mana here. So there's 3 things to tap here. Winter Orb. Okay. Well, I guess that's one way to keep our shit tapped down. We will untap the Undiscovered Paradise. Tangle Wire triggers. We gotta tap down 3 things. Putrid Imp, Lotus Petal. That's fine. We can still get in with the Acroma, put them to 2, and then play a Undiscovered Paradise and pass the turn. They have multiple lethal attackers they need to deal with, and the Tangle Wire is only at 2 now. And it is noted that the Winter Orb is tapped, so that is going to allow us to untap all of our lands. Because this isn't, as long as it's untapped. Alright, and we pick up game 1, up against our opponent. I think we're going to bring in the Disenchants and the Duresses. Take out the Cabal therapies. And I feel like the Living Deaths are probably too expensive for this matchup, since they're going to be staxing us and taxing our mana. So let's try something like this. Alright, so we have a lot of mana. We actually have enough mana to just cast this Phantom Neshoba. Which, honestly, we might just do. We're definitely not on the Reanimator plan with this hand, but we literally have the mana to be able to turn 1 a Phantom Neshoba. Alright, Goblin Welder from the opponent. Yeah, we're just going to turn 1 Phantom Neshoba and see if that's enough to overrun our opponent here. Or... Okay, we don't have the mana to be able to turn 1 Acroma, but we are going to go ahead and Dark Ritual, Petal, pay this, pay the 5, make a white and a green. And we're going to see if just a turn 1 Phantom Neshoba is enough to get us through this match. It has Trample. It's a big boy. It gains its life. The fun part when Reanimator decks are actively casting their reanimation targets. Ancient Tomb from the opponent. Into a Tangle Wire. Well, that's going to buy them a little bit of time. Into a Lotus Petal. So this is what, like repeatable Tangle Wire? Kind of? I mean, we'll tap our shit. Into a City of Brass. We'll just play it. Pass the turn. Try to set up so that if we get the chance, we can bin our Acroma. Exhume it. Alright, so this is like unlimited Tangle Wire stuff here is essentially what's going on. Our plan is basically just to flood the board with more shit than they can tap with Tangle Wire. Yeah, and they get back the Tangle Wire. So this is basically just continuous... We're going to take 1 off of the City of Brass, but it's basically just continuously looping Tangle Wire until we can get enough shit on the board to be able to just have more shit to be able to... More shit than we have to tap, basically. They would also need double Goblin Welder to be able to do this infinitely. Well, we'll have 6 through the turn. Ancient Tomb from the opponent. 4 mana into a Thran Dynamo. Okay. So now they can flip it around, do it again my turn. I'm basically just looking for lands and shit at this point, honestly. Exhume is not it. Like, I don't know the format well enough to know if this is worth trying to work my way through, or if they just have enough of a lock that this isn't worth it. Phyrexian Furnace. Interesting. Some graveyard hate. Alright, they're just going to get Tangle Wire back. So, like, they're not presenting a clock other than my own City of Brass. So, like, I'm tempted to just keep going, because I'm going to eventually hit enough lands that this doesn't matter. I'll also eventually get to the point where I can disenchant the Tangle Wire and at least be able to get through for a turn. They're also playing off the top of their deck, and they have been doing a ton of damage to themselves here. Okay, Tinker is a thing in this format. What are the Tinker targets in this format? Karn gets +4, -4, and can turn a creature or an artifact into a creature. Okay. Alright, I think this is locked up enough that I'm willing to go to the next game. Like, we could try to slog through this, but it's probably not worth my time if we're being completely honest here. Honestly, I think we're just going to run it back here. Okay. This isn't terrible. I think we're going to go ahead and keep this. We can bin 2 Achromas. And if we hit a reanimation spell off of the Careful Study, we can turn 1 into Chroma and get it into play. I will say, like, the fact that the reanimation targets aren't as game-ending in this format as they are in, say, Legacy is actually mildly refreshing. Alright, we're going to go ahead and throw 2 different creatures on the bottom, and we are going to reanimate the Achroma to get in right off of the bat. Like, there's something to be said about getting Multani instead, but I'd rather start getting the damage in now and just try to close this game out as quickly as possible. Like, Multani could close it out in 2 turns, but there's not a huge difference between 2 or 3 turns with Multani and, like, 3 turns with Achroma. We hit another Achroma. We will do another Careful Study. We'll check the 2 Achromas, any order, play an Underground River. We at least are hitting permanents to be able to try to play around a Tangle Wire. And our opponent is down to 6 already. Their Ancient Tomb is a real cost to actually tap it for mana. And our opponent scoops up! We put a win on the board, finally! Okay, first match win in Premodern. On to the next round. Alright, lost a die roll. Okay, I don't hate this at all. We'll go ahead and keep this. We'll start out with the Gemstone Mine, Careful Study, turn 2 Exhume. Force from the opponent and a pass by the look of it. Okay. City of Brass, we will play Gemstone Mine, play Careful Study, Dark Ritual, and Undiscovered Paradise. Well, we'll chuck our 2 reanimation targets, and we will plan to probably exhume... Do I want to exhume the Neshoba or the Rhea? Neshoba has Trample, Rhea has Flying, can attack the turn it comes down. Neshoba gains me life. I think we want to get the... Or actually, no, sorry, I was thinking this was a Chroma. We want to get the Rhea back first, because that gets us the Neshoba back. And our opponent plays a Plains into a Sterling Grove, so our opponent's on some sort of Enchantress-style deck. And we hit another Careful Study. I think we want to play the Swamp. Let's Careful Study, just in case we find another reanimation spell for 1 mana. We hit an Achroma. I like that. So pitch Achroma, pitch Undiscovered Paradise, and then we will Dark Ritual. Then we will Exhume, get back Rhea, so that we can get back other creatures as well. And then we will pass the turn. So we're up against some sort of Enchantress deck. And our opponent scoops it up after the Rhea. Okay, so up against Enchantress, I want to bring in the Disenchants. I am going to take out all of the Cabal therapies, bring in some Duresses, and what else do we want to take out? I'm guessing up against Enchantress, Sickening Dreams isn't going to be very good. I don't know what their win con is. So I'm just going to take those out for now unless I see differently. And just bring in the Duresses to strip some enchantments out of hand and disenchant to actually kill their enchantments. And try that. Okay, this isn't bad. This is a Careful Study to find reanimation targets. Throw our reanimation targets in the or find a reanimation spell, throw reanimation targets in the graveyard. So I think we're going to keep this. We're probably going to lead off on Underground River just so we're not taking... counters off of the Gemstone Mine right away. Opponent mulled to 6, plays a Wooded Foothills, and appears to be passing. We hit a Disenchant. I don't hate that at all, so we're going to go ahead and Careful Study. Chuck our reanimation targets in the graveyard. We will chuck Rhea and Achroma. Any order. Pass the turn. We have up both Duress and Disenchant if we want to. Wasteland from the opponent. Okay. Takes out our land. That's fine. We have more. I feel like our opponent isn't going to kill us with chip damage. It's going to be some kind of like lock. So I'm willing to take the damage off of City of Traders here, or City of Brass. See what's going on over there. Oh, it's a survival of the fittest deck. Okay. Monk Realist, destroy target enchantment. I don't care about that. Cartographer, you may return target land from the graveyard to your hand. Okay, well, we'll take a survival because it's the only thing that matters here. And then if they take their turn off to play another one, we can just disenchant it. But they might just go ahead and wasteland our City of Brass here. And it looks like that is their plan. Okay. It means they're not doing anything else, so I'm not super concerned about that at the moment. And we hit a reanimate, so we will reanimate the Rhea so that we can get the Achroma back next turn. Granted, this is half of our life total, but they don't have anything in their hand to interact with this. And the last time we reanimated a Rhea, they just scooped, so I don't know if they have removal in their deck. I'm sure they have to have some sort of removal. Okay, and the opponent scoops it up. All right. Pretty easily taking down some form of Enchantress. This has honestly been a hell of a learning experience. So I gotta review the footage, get my thoughts together, and I'll address it all in the wrap up. That was a wild ride. That was a ton of fun. As I said, my favorite way to learn a new format or a new way to play Magic is to just experience it firsthand. And I personally take just this insane amount of joy of seeing cards I don't recognize across the battlefield from me. So this was a hell of a learning experience and a hell of a first step into the pre-modern format. That said, I know I did not play optimally. I know there were situations I probably could have worked my way through that I didn't, but that's me being new to the format, and that's me learning the format. The deck itself felt solid. It felt great. It felt like traditional Reanimator back in Legacy. Just the creatures you reanimate don't just end a game on the spot. And that's honestly something that's super refreshing to me, to not just be like, oh, okay, this game is completely over on turn one because I was able to reanimate my fatty. No, we saw that I could reanimate a fatty on turn one and I'd still lose the game. So that was a nice little experience that is unique to pre-modern that I don't get playing Legacy. So, like I said, the deck feels really good. There is definitely a learning curve in the mana base in this format, and having to mitigate my life total with my lands in addition to my reanimate effects. So that is definitely something you need to keep in mind if you are jumping from Legacy to pre-modern. I will say I like the idea of Living Death, but even with Rituals and Lotus Petals, it just feels like it is a ton of mana when you only have 16 lands in your deck, and one of your lands will bounce back to your hand if you ever decide to tap it for mana. But the deck felt solid. It consistently did the thing. I felt like in sideboard games, the sideboard was well constructed to be able to handle the range of the pre-modern format. Seeing as I'm so new to the format, I really don't have any changes I would recommend. I would have to look to see what the card pool has and probably check out other deck lists in addition to this one to be able to come up with any ideas. But if you're looking to jump from Legacy into pre-modern and you want a deck that has the same play patterns and feels very similar to a Legacy deck, I highly recommend Reanimator as a first step into the format. So, at the end of the day, y'all got to learn the format with me firsthand. This is Reanimator for Pre-Modern. I hope you all had as much fun watching as I did playing. I will catch you all in the next video. If you like my Pre-Modern content and you want to see more of it, please let me know in the comments below and I'll keep it coming. And as always, stay salty. Play any of the decks you see on this channel with a Mana Traders rental subscription. With a variety of tiers to fit any budget, Mana Traders lets you play whatever you want in whatever format you want. Use code DasSourKraut at checkout and become a better player today. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like and sub button below. There are free ways to support the channel. And drop a comment, let me know what you like. Any kind of feedback you got, your opinions on my gameplay, the decks that I play, any of that kind of stuff. If you really like what you see, go ahead and drop by the Patreon. Become a patron, get to read some of my tournament reports and some stuff going on outside of just Magic in my life that I'm going to start putting over there as kind of my own personal blog. Also, you can do donation deck lists over there, just the price of a league if you have a specific deck you want to see, or you have an idea you want me to brew around, something like that, go ahead and do that. Nothing is required. It's always appreciated, though. Any donations go directly back into the channel, covering stuff such as leagues for donation decks or the rental program that I'm a part of. I am a small-time YouTuber. I'm doing this for fun. I really hope you all like what you saw. I truly appreciate you all stopping by. I will catch you all in the next video, and as always, stay salty.